What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and welcome to another installment of One-on-One with the Supervillain. That's me. For those who are unfamiliar, you should seen these by now. You should know what this is. This is where I talk to the members of my supervillain squad, everybody at the $25 and up tier. It is where we sit down for at least an hour and talk about whatever they want to talk about. And I'm honored that everybody wants to, the people who join, they want to actually support on this level. And we've been having some great conversations. And this one is expected to be no different. I'm glad to talk to this dude because he's been a member of the squad for a while. And we've talked via Twitter and social media, but never face to face. And also, it's weird when I get to see his actual name. So it's one of the squad members, AZ Badfish. Martin, what's happening, brother?
What's up, man? How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you, man? You out in hot ass Arizona?
Yeah, actually, I'm down southeast Arizona, so I'm like, it's hot here, but it's not as hot as like Phoenix or anything. Like, let me look at my phone. I think it's even been hotter for you guys than it has been for me. I'm like in the foothills of mountains and stuff.
Also, you're lucky. So you got like nice, normal summer weather in a sense.
It does get hot, but like 100 degrees is hot for me. Like that's really high for here. Normally it's like 95. Right now it's 81.
Dude, last week it was like 117, 119, 115. I was like, this is illegal. Yeah, like this is illegal.
Dumb. Just
because it's one of them days like you don't want to fucking leave the house, you don't want to do anything. You just like, I'm gonna just sit around and pray for the best because man, it was absurd, man. It was hot. First and foremost, though, but before we go any further, thank you for all the support, man. Real talk. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. It means a lot, honestly. You know, you've been around for a minute.
I have been around for a minute. I remember, so I've been following Schmoes since before Collider. I think since before the Outlaw John Rocco was a thing. So I've been a movie trivia Schmoedown guy for a minute. And I remember when you first showed up, I thought, this is another guy who gets it. He gets it the same way that Roca gets it. So I start following you almost immediately, I think. I know we had an interaction back in 2017 when your Twitter got hacked. So at least since then.
Wow. Damn, it's been a while. I remember a lot of people remember my first time on the Schmoedown. I tell everybody, like, it was fun. The promo was, I think, before the match, it was the promo that day. Let me switch that light. There you go. The right light. There it is. That's how it's supposed to look.
My light's all messed up. I look all kinds of washed out. But
again, everything cut off. And so I had to cut it back on. And so when I cut on the light again, it goes back to this like yellowish set. And I was like, no, that's not what I want. But I remember that promo that day, man. That promo was like fun because Christian didn't even know what I did. And so Christian was like, when he watched me cut the promo, I'll never forget, Christian was like, okay, I think you're good. Because it was in one take. It was just once and I was done. I was like, what you need to talk about? This, that, cool, we're done.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
I don't really know what I want to talk about, man. Like we got some stuff in common, but you know, I didn't have a plan or anything.
Oh, dude, this is it is what it is. I know, because I was like, all right, I've seen you on here. I've seen you, you know, saying comment and things like that. And I see you do a lot of Twitch stream. Like you're doing a lot of Twitch streaming. Like, well, not Twitch, but just like streaming gameplay and stuff like that.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot. I don't anymore. I don't know. It was mostly Minecraft stuff, to be honest with you. I was like way into it for a while. And then I don't know. I haven't been lately.
I'm planning on getting, because I keep seeing all the stuff Winston does. I see all the stuff Winston does and everybody else. And I'm like, all right, I got a Sega Genesis here, but the capture card I have isn't good. So I haven't been able to set it up like I want to play it. And so I was like, all right, I guess I'll start doing it. But plus I need something since nothing's open, I need something to keep me occupied. Like try to stay busy and active because shit, I've been going crazy. I'm probably going to, after I'm done with this, whenever we're done with this, I think I'm gonna finish up this picture I'm painting. Just because I'm like, that's been the thing now. I get bored, I start painting. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, I've seen you been posting them. It's pretty good, man. Like I'm always jealous of people who can do visual art because I can't. There's a lot of stuff that I don't have the patience to sit down and like just do it. So it's one of them things I'm like, it's so cool. I wish I could, but I don't.
Dude, it's one of the things for me because like I tell everybody, I've been not painting, I've been drawing in general since I was a kid. Like that's been a thing since I was a kid. Painting just came within the past year or so. Like painting was something I just picked up because I was like, if I can draw and I can color with color pencils and all this shit, why can't I try with paints? And then I was doing it with paints at first, and it was okay, but it was just like with anything else. You start doing it more, you get used to it, and it became real therapeutic, if you will. Like it allowed me to chill out. Like I know what you're saying about the patience, but it's like if my nerves going bad or something, I just all right. Next thing I know, like 6-7 hours have gone by because between drawing it and painting it and getting done with it, I've allowed so much time to just blow by.
I was always been one of those people that gets real down on himself. So like when I draw something, I'm like, man, this sucks. I suck at this. I should just go do something else. So that's where yeah, but like that's where I stopped. Like I just never. So I realized as a kid, I was like, I'm not good at that. It's kind of actually funny enough why I don't really try to stream games anymore. Is because I'm not by myself. I'm not. I don't think I'm very entertaining. I actually have a lot of social anxiety. This right now is. I bet if I look at my heart rate, it's probably through the roof right now. It says I'm 70, which is a lot because normally I'm down in like 55. So like I can tell that I'm. Just nervous.
It's funny because like Alberto Rios, when I did the very first one with him, he was like, because I've seen him, we've hung out before when I go back home to Chicago, but him being on camera was a whole new thing. So he was like, oh shit. And I'm like, hey man, we just talking. Like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? It's not anything
right.
Other than
yeah,
that,
but when you're streaming games, if you're especially if you're like Winston, I think, and all these guys from like the SEN and the crew and stuff like that, they have a little bit of a benefit that there's kind of a built-in audience to start. So like,
Gotcha.
when he first started streaming, he probably had, at least 10 people in there, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that and there's 0 people in the chat, it is hard to stream for me. Because then it's just you, and you got to be entertaining enough to like, if somebody comes in, they got to want to stay. So you got to be entertaining on your own. And then once you start building up chat and there's people back and forth, it becomes easier. But for me, I was just never good at being, I guess, entertaining. I always felt like
that shit sounds terrifying. Like I don't, and this is somebody who does shit on stream because I gotta pay attention to the game, but then look at the chat, talk to y'all at the same time. Try to make sure I'm not losing, and like you said, still be entertaining, not just I'm playing the fucking game. I gotta be that. Literally, I'm not really. Man, that shit sounds terrible.
I think you'll have the same. I think you'll have the same benefit. I bet when you start, if you were to start streaming like on Twitch or something, you would have a built-in crowd, like automatic. Like even if it's just like a few people, they're there because it's you, so they want to talk to you. So you already have people in the chat to interact with.
Well, you just opened up my eyes to some shit for real, because like I'd be right, this motherfucker just like, so y'all want to watch me play Streets of Rage? Like because I'm playing
whatever you want. These people will show up just because it's you, and then you'll have the random people stopping in because of the game you're playing, and then it just grows.
Okay.
It's but I don't know. I was always I've got, like I said, I have a lot of social anxiety, so I kind of found that I didn't like doing it because I felt a lot of pressure while I was doing it, and like 2 hours just made me so tired at the end of it. So I think I'll just not do this anymore.
Have you ever gone to the did you go to the live Schmodown when they had it there?
They canceled it.
Oh, they canceled. Right.
I had a ticket. Yeah, I had ticket. I had a hotel reservation because I was in Phoenix, so that's like a 3.5 hour drive for me.
Yeah, because it was in Tempe, right?
Yeah, which is basically Phoenix. It's like it's like all one big area.
Okay.
But yeah, so like it's like a 3.5 hour drive. So I had like hotel reservations and everything, and then they canceled it. I was like, damn it.
Because I was gonna ask her, like, how does that deal with your social anxiety? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you said like, yo, streaming is one thing, but you about to be around the people you see on the Schmodown and all the fans and everything.
You remember? I don't know if you remember, but Mark Ellis had a comedy show that he did, and Ken Knopsack and Josh Bakuga came with him.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to that and I was very, very awkward. Like, so I don't know if you probably have no idea. I don't expect like everybody involved to always watch, but on like one of the Collider Live episodes after that show, Josh Bakuga talked about a dude who showed up with a fake neck tattoo because that was a whole thing with him, like talking shit about people with neck tattoos. And like, that was me. I had a fake neck tattoo and I showed up. My whole plan was I was super clever about it. I was just going to show up and I was going to try to throw him off, right? And like make him laugh while he's on stage. But then like when I actually got there, I was so nervous about it. I ended up not doing it. Like I left my jacket on. He saw it. I showed him at the end and like we talked about it, but like I didn't even hang out with him. I felt so weird. Like I showed up and I like, hey, how's it going? I think I got pictures and I shook everybody's hand and I just left.
Really?
Yeah. I was super nervous. And plus it was like, I think 11 o'clock and I was driving home. So like, I didn't want to be getting home at like 5 a.m.
Jeez. Yeah. So like, because I've seen that at like a couple of the live ones, especially I remember when we did New York, because I know there are a lot of people who will call themselves socially awkward, especially when it comes to meeting everybody. And then when you tell them, because like people will come to us, like I remember we were talking, me and somebody was talking, and somebody just was standing there staring. And I was like, yo, you can come over here. Like, you know, like we don't, because I think the thing I try to tell people, for me, I've learned some people see us as like celebrities of sorts. Me, I'm just like, I'm a regular dude that gets to do a lot of cool shit. But, and then some people see it and they're like, oh, they don't want to interrupt. And I'm like, yo, if this is a moment where we're interacting with people, by all means, you know what I'm saying, come over. Like I'll do, when I go to like different Comic-Cons, it's hilarious to me. People who will stare from a distance, like I don't notice you staring, like I feel it here. Like,
you ever see that people like trying to take a selfie
and they put themselves in it, right, with me in the background? Because but the weird shit about that is when they take those selfies, when they do it and then they tag you in it, and it's like,
dude, you should have just came and said what's up.
You just got a regular picture up, because those are the weird ones. Like I don't mind coming to take a selfie. I was at FanX Salt Lake Comic-Con in Salt Lake City, and a dude was taking a picture from a distance, and I stopped him. I was like, yo, you can come and ask for the picture, fam. I'm not gonna say no. Like it's weirder if you like 30 feet away, like look who I'm seeing. Like you're not seeing me technically. But like I don't, I guess because I've never, so when it comes to events or places I've never been around people I don't know, I'm what you would call shy then. I'm real quiet. I'm real reserved because I'm checking out everything. I'm checking out everybody. I don't, like I said, if I'm there, maybe with a person I know, I only know that one person, but I'm just seeing what everything is. But then once I like warm up and open up to everybody and all this other stuff, and they will open up to me, then I'm like, okay, cool, we're a little bit cooler. We can talk. But man, I don't know, man. I have a lot of respect for people who have that nerve is like, yo, I don't know. Because it keeps you from also making a mistake in a sense.
Yeah. There's been a lot of times where I could say I've probably just stayed home or not said something, or approached a person. Yeah, lots of times. Like,
but you'd be surprised.
Yeah,
I think you'd be surprised though. But you'd be surprised how many people are very open to just talk to people. But then, yeah, you do have those people who are grade A assholes, and you'd be like, yeah, I should have went with my first mind.
Yeah,
because I think we all have had them. Like, it's always interesting when you're in the same room and people that know these people have introduced you as somebody like a peer almost, and then people want to act brand new, and I have to calm myself because that's when my South Side comes out, and I'm like, yo, if you don't calm the fuck down, like you are a regular person, your bank account just a little bit big at the end of the day, like we good. Like I don't have to kiss your ass. I've had that so many times, bro. I'm like, I'm not about to kiss your ass. I don't give a fuck what you do. Like you gonna act like a regular person around me. And I get it, man. I do. It's so. I've seen the meet and greets after the live schmoedowns, and I can tell people who are just like in awe to meet people. And I guess because I'm sitting there like, this is just Christian and Mark. The fuck are y'all talking?
It's always been weird for me because like I'm a pretty self-aware person, I think. Maybe that's not always a good thing, but like I am pretty aware of the fact that I feel like they are my friends sometimes. Like you. Like I feel like I spend hours and hours every week with y'all.
Right.
You don't know who the hell I am. So it's like I got to remind myself of that. But I think that's a lot of where that sometimes comes from, is because we do spend so much time watching you from, you're on the TV screen, I'm on the couch, so that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like you guys are celebrities sorts. Like I think I'd be more happy to like hang out and meet you guys than somebody who's like actual like A-list level, like I don't know, like Chris Evans or something. Just like
right.
I had nothing to say to him. Like what am I gonna?
But that's the thing, and I think that's the thing though. I've learned, because at first it's like, yeah, we get it. People do, because I'm glad you have the awareness. Let me say this first and foremost, because there are some who don't understand it, who really go above and beyond. Was like, well, we were like friends, and we're like, you just went too far. Like you just
Right.
crossed that
like,
line.
I try not to ever make jokes in chat or like on a comment or something, because it's like I don't know you like that. Like I feel like I do, but I don't.
But see, at least you have that awareness though. That's a good thing, because there's so many people who lack that awareness, who act as if they like, no, we all cool. And it's like, man. Like I think I had to tell I remember when I was like a while ago, when I was going off on somebody on Twitter, because I'm always going off on somebody on Twitter. And I had to check them like, yo, you don't know me like that. Like, who do you think you're talking to? But then I had to also learn, like, I can't always just snap on people like that. And I was like, well, thanks for ruining my day. Like, no, I get it. I do. I get where you're coming from. But yeah, like also, but you have a good point. We would all have something to talk about, because of course if you're a fan of the schmo down, stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, the collective element behind all that is movies. That's the overall thing that connects everybody, is movies. So then you can start having those discussions will naturally happen, because that's the commonality with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So like then it's like, oh, did you see the trailer for this? Or whoa, are you expecting this movie? And like yeah, like one of my buddies the other day, I was talking to him, he's in Texas, and he was like, yo, did you see the New Mutants? I was like, you're asking me like I was running out to go see this movie. Like I was rushing to go see it. Like
I had to see it, man.
Okay, so you sound like he said already. Like I just had, like he said, it is so disappointing.
I wasn't like, see, I'm not. I grew up kind of a weird way. I didn't have access to comic books and a lot of pop culture stuff growing up. I had, not until like the late '90s, when I was like in high school already, basically, which is kind of nuts to think about. But I didn't have. So basically, I'm not a comic book guy. I love comic book characters and stories, superheroes and stuff, but it's always been a TV show or movie thing for me. I have many graphic novels that I've read since then, but like just the weekly issue stuff is just something I never really got into. So I don't know anything about the New Mutants other than what I heard people talk about. I think I even avoided the trailers. I was just so like, this has been pushed back so many times, and they're still going to release it in theaters during the pandemic. All right, I have to see it. Plus, it was the first, and this is going to sound bad, but it was the first theater in my town that opened. It was the first show available, and I couldn't stop myself.
Well,
but there's only I live in a small town too, and so even before COVID, like opening night would be slow. So I kind of counted on that, and there was a total of, I think, 6 people in the theater, including me. So I felt all right.
But I mean, like I don't, like I guess the thing was I don't care about going. I'm one of those people that I'll be safe and take my own precautions. I don't mind going to a theater. It was just like, it's the New Mutants. Like it's one of those movies I'm not in a rush to see. You know what I'm saying? Again, because
It was all right.
because I guess because at this point I'm like the same thing, like you said, it keeps getting pushed back, and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And so now I'm like, okay, I can wait. I guess I can wait because there's no, I've done it. But my boy, he was like, it is so disappointing. And then some other people were like, it's not that bad. Like
it was all right. Like it's not one that I'm gonna buy when it comes out, It's not
I don't think anyone is. I don't think anyone is. Like, I think this is gonna be that movie that came out, it's gonna hit Disney Plus. And I saw Bill and Ted Face the Music, and I was like, this is okay. Like, I didn't jump, like I know a bunch of people going crazy for it. I was like, this is fine.
So I mentioned I missed a bunch of stuff growing up. I never saw Bill and Ted. I didn't see either of them. And so it was one of the, I have gone back and watched like movies that were popular when I was a kid, well after the fact. And it doesn't usually end well because it's been built up so much by the time that I've seen it by people who grew up loving it.
Yeah.
It's impossible to live up. As a 35-year-old man going back to watch this movie, it's impossible to live up to this, what you've built it up to be. So like, I tend to not go back and watch that type of stuff. So this one, I don't know. I don't really particularly feel the need to see it because I didn't see the first two. So
that makes sense. I'm like the same. I have that same feeling with things getting built up, not even with old movies, with certain TV shows out now. So like Lovecraft Country, I started watching it. I was like, I was gonna watch it anyway, right? I was gonna watch it regardless.
I'm one of them people. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm one of them people. I'm sorry.
That would pump it up so hard.
Yeah.
But no, his thing. I enjoy it. I like it. But I guess I'm watching every episode. I'm expecting some just grandiose thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so when something happens, I'm like, oh shit. But now my brain is like, is it getting bigger because of the way everybody was talking about every single episode? And so when they released 4 early, because everybody was like, oh shit, they released it a day early, and everybody was going crazy. And I was like, okay. So I watched it and I enjoyed the episode. I completely liked it, but I was like, what am I missing at this point?
I don't think there is anything big about it. I just think it's cool. I
think it's a cool show. I love it. I love what it does, but it's just the way sometimes some people pump up shows, and I know I'm guilty of that too. I'll admit I'm guilty. Like I'll tell people in a minute, yo, you need to watch this or you need to check this out. Like I'm guilty of it every time.
That's why I watched Doom Patrol. That's why I just finished season 1 of Harley Quinn last night.
Well, look, Doom Patrol is that show I'm stand by no matter what. Doom Patrol, because it's so wild. I never thought I would see it. Again, when I started seeing the comic book shows when they were happening, the wildest shit we started getting was when the Netflix shows happened. That was when we started getting wild shit, right? When we started getting murders.
Right.
But then we started getting like murders. But then you see Doom Patrol, and in the first 5 minutes, Brendan Fraser is fucking the nanny, and you're like, wait, what? And then,
it goes from there, man.
Then you get a talking roach, Admiral Whiskers, who is requoting the thing from The Princess Bride. As you kill, like, what? And then season two gets just as crazy, but you remember, okay, COVID happened, so they didn't do the last episode, but still, it's like,
I'm glad I at least knew that was going to happen. I think.
Oh yeah.
So I was ready for it, but
it made me a little bit upset though. It made me mad because it was like, I
knew
it
was squeezed out one more episode.
I was like, it could have just. Because it's like it's right. Because when you hear it's the season finale, but it's not the season finale.
Yeah,
it's like there's supposed to be something right there. Because that was like when I was watching, like I said in the review, like that episode with the sex ghost. I was like, well, there is nothing. I don't like. Where else does this show go? You know what I'm saying? Like we have sex ghost. Like you can't.
I mean, Danny the Street. Come on, like that's one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. I don't know how they did it.
The fact that he's the character, like the fact when they made the character, they was like, yo, we're gonna make a sentient street. And you gotta be like, what? Yeah, the street's alive. No, say that again. The street is alive. And then you get Flex Mentallo to make the street have an orgasm in season 1. You're like,
I forgot about that.
Remember? Flex made everything.
Oh man.
Even Danny the Street. And it's just it's so wild. That's why I'm like, please, they got to give him a season 3. They got to.
Yeah, I hope so. I love it, man.
I'm still waiting on here. How far are you in Harley Quinn?
I just finished the first episode of season 2.
Okay. So yeah, it's still just, again, that's another show. The
Nuts.
first episode
not
of the
expecting
it.
I didn't actually know anything about it other than you were like, you guys need to watch it. I had no idea it was TVMA. I was not expecting that at all.
I think when people hear TVMA 2 now, they don't know what to expect. They just think probably a little bit of swearing.
Yeah,
I don't think not even because I remember
hard R.
Because I had the press access, and I remember I told, because we were reviewing like Doom Patrol and stuff, and so Winston started watching Harley Quinn, and he was like, "Yo, you need to watch Harley Quinn." I was like, "How many episodes you watched?" The whole season. I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Bro, in the first 5-10 minutes, you'll understand." And then to start out and the shit on the boat, and you're like, "Wait, what?" And because you think, again, like with Doom Patrol, you think this is as wild as it's gonna go. It's not, it can't go any further than this. And then you just start watching it, you're like, oh, but it can.
Yeah. I like that show a lot. I think they're doing Harley Quinn really good justice. I think yeah.
I agree. I think
I don't want to spoil it for people. I think.
Man, look, let me tell you something. Look, we're at this point now. That season has been over and done. Say everything. We're at the point. You can pretty much know I'd be the same way on anything. At this point, if you ain't seen it, that's on you. Like that. Like that shows the season's been done for a while.
Maybe, I don't know. I just now started watching it because I didn't have the DC Universe app. I only had HBO Max. I didn't even have. I mean, I'd signed up for like HBO Now for Game of Thrones, but then I turned it off. You know,
I think everybody did.
Yeah, but like I've been really enjoying HBO Max because I've never had HBO. So like all of a sudden, there's all this stuff on there that I've never seen before. So that's cool. Like I watched Westworld season 1. I slogged through season 2, and then
Westworld a good show?
I really, really liked the first season, and then the second season is so completely different. Some people like it. My friends were I started complaining about it on Facebook, and my friends were like, just stick with it, man. Stick with it. Get through season 3 is better. And then I watched like 3 episodes of season 3, and I was like, I think I'm out, man. Season 1 was great though.
See, I'm gonna tell you something. There's the only one show I know that I didn't leave it that I almost did like that, and that was Arrow. Because season 1 of Arrow is amazing. Season 2 is arguably one of the best seasons of television ever. And then season 3 happened, and I was like, "What are we doing?" And then
I watched 5 seasons of that show.
Yeah, because season 3 was the Ra's al Ghul season, and season 4 was when they brought in Damien Dark. And at first, I'm sitting here like, you bring in Neil McDonough, who's a dope ass actor, and he has fun in his roles. This can't go wrong. And then it went wrong, and you're like, why does Oliver Queen not have sleeves? Where's his sleeves? Like that. I don't know.
I don't like sleeves very much. I don't know.
I'm just saying, you are a superhero who shoots bow and arrows. The best thing you ain't going with a jacket, and they put you in a vest with shoulder pads. Like, no. like no. Somebody thought that was a great idea. And then I was like, okay, this is when it almost lost me. And then season 5 came and turned it all around. So then season 5 happened. I was like, okay, season 6, 7, and then 8 was ending out, so I was cool with it. But man,
I'm trying to remember. I kind of liked some of the CW stuff. I think I got a little tired of the Flash after a while. To be honest with you, it kind of felt a little repetitive. like there's only so many different ways he can run fast to save the world, I guess.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It became difficult to watch, and I don't mean like the shows were bad. I mean like literally, I did not have access to them. So like,
Oh.
because I didn't have TV at the time. I do
Mhm.
now, but you know, I really for the longest time I only had Netflix and Hulu because my brother-in-law has them.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with ain't nothing wrong with that at all. I know a bunch of people like, what do you have? I have whatever she's having. Like,
Yeah. So I mean, I've upgraded now. I had to buy. I'm a little embarrassed about this. I signed up for TV so that I could watch wrestling. I don't
did you
know.
think? Did you think you was going to get a complaint or argument out of me? Like, listen,
Yes.
here's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people, but there's a lot of people who get other TV packages just for certain sports. Like, there are people who get it just for NFL.
Mm.
But look, wrestling is a plus. Wrestling's a 365-day a year thing. It's all year round. There is no off season. So, I mean, I think that's the one thing about the business for me that's always the craziest. Like, it can go all year round. Like, if I felt like really trying to push back on the road to do shows, I could do shows everywhere damn near, because some places are like, fuck it, we doing the show. And you like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, I guess. If you paying, I'm doing. But ain't nothing wrong with that shit. Wrestling is wrestling, except for sometimes I do find myself getting mad watching the current products out. I'm like, there's so much talent that can be done in so many great ways. But I never get mad at the WWE for one reason. I know what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of have it figured out by now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody I know get mad. They be like, why isn't there a lot of wrestling? And why is all this? I'm like, yo, y'all forget you're not watching a wrestling show. You're watching a TV show that centers around wrestling.
Yeah. I will say, I wish that Raw was only 2 hours long.
I do too. Now that I do realize
I
think, well, that was all.
I watched that one on Hulu the next day. I can't.
You know what's funny when you watch it on Hulu? You actually still miss a lot of segments from like certain matches.
I know, which is crazy because they still include like flashback stuff from earlier in the same episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's editing this? Like, if I'm watching it on Hulu, I think it's safe to assume I'm watching this episode at least from the beginning, right?
Yep.
Like, you don't need to show me stuff that happened earlier in the same episode. Like,
when I used to do wrestling compadres, I remember Jake, we would do it, and Jake be like, wait, that happened on Raw? It's like, yeah. He's like, well, I don't know. I watched Hulu, because Hulu cuts out a whole, like, he said he didn't know. I think he was like, I didn't know Bobby Roode was on the show for a while. I'm like, yup, because they were cutting Bobby Roode segments on Hulu.
Cut out whole stuff. And I know, like, I was watching it for a while, so it's actually kind of funny. I watched wrestling for a very brief period in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Which is a good time to watch wrestling.
Of course it was.
And then, you know, I got in high school, and, you know, it wasn't as popular amongst my friends or the few people that I knew, and just kind of got out of it. I started watching it again last year because I was so into the Schmodown, I couldn't get enough of it. So I'm like, I need more stuff like that. Oh yeah, wrestling is a thing. I bet by now in 2019 there is a wrestling streaming service of some kind. I was still calling it WWF.
There are a lot of people who still do. We'll still call it the W. You mean the WWE? You mean WWE?
I've basically at this point been watching it since Mania of last year, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. But
here's the thing: that's not a bad time to start watching it either, because the thing people forget is storylines in the WWE go WrestleMania to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, like, if you know, even though it's a year-round nonstop, the year starts at WrestleMania. So when you're watching a whole new year, you're like, oh, this is a champion. This is happening. This is happening. So now nothing seems weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's funny when I think about like people who are like massive superstars. I miss their whole career. John Cena. I miss CM Punk entirely. Like, I know John Cena like is technically not retired. I saw him at WrestleMania in 2019, but like as far as like he's not a wrestler anymore. I mean, come on, like, he's an actor now. He's not week to week or whatever. I mean, he might show up every once in a while, but he's not in the he's not. But I missed it, so it's weird.
Yeah,
like tons of other people, like the Hardy brothers.
Yep.
I don't know who they like. I got no attachment to them, so it's funny now to me to see broken Matt Hardy or not broke. He's not broken now, but like just all that was fun. That whole bit on BTE with him doing like all the different characters that he's ever done. I was like, that's cool, because now I need to go back and find all of that.
Now he helped you to understand who is who. Like, oh, okay, this is the dude. Man, yeah, you missed it. You missed a lot. You missed a lot, but at the same point, the stuff you missed is done because of now it's a transition. Many of like the Hardys are one of the few that are still around from then. Like you said, Cena's now a movie star. So it's now you just missed his career. You miss hearing about Cena, but just like, oh, the dude in movies now? Okay. Mm-hmm. For me with wrestling, I tell everybody, even though, I have this love of it, we all know. I just, again, when I watch the program, I'm like, I would love to be a writer, but then I've talked to writers that work for like the WWE and stuff, and I'm like, oh, my soul can't take that headache. I can't, because Vince McMahon they say he calls you. Whenever he calls you late at night, you need to answer your phone. Bruh, there's this thing called sleep. Like, granted, I don't know about sleep. I mean, granted, I don't get it, but when I take my naps, I won't.
I make time for sleep, which is probably why I don't get anything done.
I try to sleep. I try to, but my brain doesn't shut off. So I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like before we were doing all this, I woke up this morning. I was like, okay, because I recorded my reviews for Bill and Ted and for The Boys on Monday. And I was like, all right, I was half awake then when I recorded. I was like, let me knock these out. I'm going to edit them, get them up. Then I had a super busy day yesterday. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this, knock these out, get them up. Then I was like, I got to do this one-on-one. Then I sit there and be telling myself, don't I got to do something after this? I don't know what I got to do. But then I'll figure out eventually. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could take a nap. And the moment I lie down, and let's say, as soon as I lie down, I'll be like, oh shit. Now I'm back. Like, let me try to get all this together. And it's, this thing here is the worst planner in history for me. I have 2 whiteboards, cork boards, everything around my room so I can just write stuff down. So I'm like, nope, I need to remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember shit, man. I have terrible memory, especially for stuff that's important to remember, like names and dates and numbers. Basically, anything that makes you good at trivia, I'm terrible at remembering. It's just it's a curse. I hate it. I wish I could remember stuff.
I'm filled with useless information that I need to know for no apparent reason. Like I know stuff like people ask, yeah, what was the color of such and such? Like, what was the thing back in like 1985? What was the name of the TV show 1985 about a guy who invented a daughter that was a maid? And I'd be like, Small Wonder. They'd be like, how do you remember that? And I'd be like, I don't know. But it got me. It got me to be a contestant on The Weakest Link. That's all I know. Hey. It's got me on The Weakest Link. So that airs. I can't wait till that come out. Dude, that was a fun experience.
Nice. I don't actually know. I haven't seen that in a long time. I thought that was
so they canceled it. They did. They're bringing it back. So they used to have the older British lady, Ann Robinson. She'd be like, "You The Weakest Link, goodbye." Well, now they got Jane Lynch, who's now the host from Glee.
That's a name. I'll look up a picture. I'll probably recognize it.
He said it's a name. So yeah, you got Jane.
I'm telling you, dude. I just don't. I can watch. Yeah, see, I know who that is.
But you sound like me too sometimes. Like I know faces. I don't like. I'll watch a movie or TV show. I'm like, yo, I know them from such and such movie. They'd be like, what's their name?
Like, yeah, it's pretty bad, man. That's why I
I
don't
have,
argue with people on the internet anymore, because they'll want like, I'll be like, I remember one time I heard this thing. So I'll like try to tell people that I heard this thing. They're like, well, where'd you hear it from? Like, give me a source. Like, where's your article? Like, who's all? I'm like, I don't remember, man. I just remember that I read it. Or like, or I heard some politician say this thing one time. I don't remember who it was.
feel
Like,
like
I was like, you know what? It's better for me to just not. I'll hang out over here and watch some stupid shows on.
I gotta learn how to overall do that though, man. I gotta stop arguing with people online because like I have a headache when I'm all said and done. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, I was arguing yesterday with a girl I know. She's a comic. She's from Chicago. We both from Chicago. We both live out here now, and she's from Louisville. And her brother's like a damn near racist. She's a white girl. Brother's like her family is, and so her brother. I was like, I'm going.
All about that.
So we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm just going all. And after a while, she started texting me. Was like, "Thank you for thank you for arguing with my brother and blah 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 blah." And at first, I wanted to be like, "Bitch, why aren't you doing this? Like, this is like, why am I the one? Like, I don't mind doing it, but at the same time, it's like this isn't my job."
Yeah.
You got family like that? Let me guess. You got family like that?
All of them.
Jesus.
I mean, they're not like. All right, so I don't know how serious you want to get, but I'll give you a
Let's go.
A quick rundown. So, my mom is youngest of 4 daughters to a Southern Baptist minister from Virginia, who was on mission to New York City. That's mission as in missionary, like people would go to Africa.
Yeah.
Or something, to New York City. That's where my mom grew up because yeah. So that's one. My dad, born and raised Southern Baptist in Alabama. So that'll give you a pretty good idea.
Mm-hmm.
They met at Bob Jones University, which, if you don't know what that is one of the most fundamentalist Southern Baptist universities in the country.
Wow.
My dad got kicked out of that college for being violent, and then joined the military, which actually seemed to level him out, I guess. So, yeah, they're very, very fundamentalist, religious, very Southern. My dad also, and here's the fun part that I'm sure you'll get a kick out of. He was for a long time, an active member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, which is a Civil War reenactment group, obviously for the Southern side. Used to roll around with he had the full suit, man.
No,
dude. It's not good. He used to have a bumper sticker on his truck that was a Confederate flag, and it said, "Don't blame me. I voted for Jackson." Yeah. So that's how I grew up. My brother is kind of all about it. I'm like the only progressive person in my family, as far as I know. Like, I got a lot. Like I mentioned, my mom is the youngest of 4.
Mm-hmm.
They all have very big families, lots and lots of cousins. Pretty sure I'm the only progressive person. So I've actually had to go out of my way to unlearn a lot of shit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I graduated from I'm in IT, and when I graduated from college and I started working, I kind of worked in a place that was very white, except for a few people. And one of those people, I'm gonna call him Rob. Rob is black, and he was a really cool dude. He was part of our subgroup because we all played video games. We all played World of Warcraft. And he played with us. And he was the only black guy in our group, in our little group of friends, and we hung out all the time. We would always be over at one of our houses, like drinking, whatever. This was many years ago, before I ever met my wife and got married and stuff. So I was still single. We were hanging out, going out and stuff. We gave each other as a group shit all the time over many different things. And being white assholes that we were, it's an easy thing to pick on a black person for being black. Like, it's just, that's just the way it is. Like, we tell in jokes. Like, I don't want to say I never made a joke, because I'm sure I did, but I know I was always there laughing, right? Like, and it wasn't, mean or malicious, really. I can't even really think of an example. I just know that there were many times where my other friends clearly crossed the line with him, and he would get mad at us and wouldn't talk to us for weeks. And this was just kind of a thing that happened. And it never really occurred to me what was going on until one day I was playing World of Warcraft by myself. I don't know if you've ever played the game, but basically when you're sitting in a big city, you are in a much bigger chat, like a big community chat. Like all the big cities have linked chats. It's where you go to form groups and buy and sell items in the game, whatever. It's like the main chat. There's a ton of people in there all the time. And I was just sitting there for whatever reason, and I just start seeing all this racist shit coming across my screen. And some of it's real bad, and some of it sounds a lot like the stuff that we were saying. And it occurred to me, and I remember thinking very clearly, going, man, Rob cannot fucking go anywhere. And that's when I realized how fucked up we had been. And I reached out to him and I talked to him about it, and he was like, hey, thanks for talking to me about it. You obviously seem to understand something, otherwise you wouldn't have reached out to me, so thank you. And like, we're not like super close or anything. We never really were super tight. Like, we were good friends, but like, he ended up moving to Germany for a job, and like just kind of lost touch with him. I still talk to him every once in a while. He actually moved back into town. I saw him at Black Panther screening. It was pretty cool. But yeah, ever since that moment, I have been seeing it everywhere. It's just everywhere. Racism's fucking everywhere. And like, it's so weird. Like, I don't want to call myself woke. I don't like using that word. No, thank you, by the way, for telling me about that show yesterday. I watched the first episode this morning. It's really good. I'm excited to see more of it.
Oh, I'm almost done with the whole thing. It's amazing.
But it really is like flipping a light switch. Like, all of a sudden, I couldn't watch anything for years, because anytime any kind of stereotype, any joke that relied on a stereotype of any kind from any person made me angry. I was like, don't you see what you're doing? Like, I get it that you're joking, but you're spreading this idea. You are somebody who might not have heard this idea has now heard the idea, or you're normalizing the idea for people who honestly don't need that normal. They need the opposite. Like, it just became a whole thing with me. And oddly enough, it was, I think it was, I don't remember the name of the special, but it was the Chappelle special before 842. I think the one where he came out and it was just like,
Sticks and Stones.
Going to town on
Sticks and Stones.
I was like, that finally made me laugh again. I was like, because this is a guy who was able to be offensive as hell, but do it in a funny way. Like, so it reminded me that it's possible. So like, it kind of brought me back into enjoying like some I still tend to shy away from it, but that's where I come from. So like, me recognizing that a lot of the stuff that I was brought up with, a lot of the things that I feel naturally as a reaction to things may not be a healthy reaction. So like, I've kind of constructed a mental barrier of sorts to where I tend to not talk a lot on the internet in the open because I just like, I don't want to say something like, if there's ever a question, I should probably not speak. I should listen. So I guess I don't know. I don't know really where I'm going at this point. I'm just rambling.
No, I mean, dude, first of all, I commend you highly. And let me just say thank you for being willing to unlearn things, because some people are just like, well, that's just how I was brought up. It is what it is, and go on from it. And to have that moment, like you said, that was like that light switch where it changed everything and made you realize, and to be open to realizing that and not pushing back from it, dude, that speaks volumes to you and your character. And like, I get sometimes just not saying something because now you don't want to go back in those old tendencies. I understand that completely. And also to say you can listen to quite, dude, that is it. I'm in awe in a great way, because it's rare you hear these stories. It's rare you hear someone say, so look, my whole past, my upbringing is uprooted in nothing but ignorance and hate, basically. But then to say, I participated in it and then I realized I was wrong. Many people don't say that. Dude, and to say that, it speaks volumes, because I've seen people who have the same background that you do, have the same upbringing, but don't change their thought process. And the reason being they don't is they'll say, well, I enjoy seeing black or brown people on TV, watching them in movies and sports, so that can't make me racist or whatever the case. But to understand, dude, that speaks a lot, man. It's super commendable. It's commendable on knowing to change that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Knowing like, yo, this is fucked up.
I still have, that's why I have that wall, man, because I still, every once in a while, I'll have a thought and I'll just be like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Did you actually right now just think like, let's take a second and unpack what you just thought and figure out. I mean, obviously we know where it's going to end up, but like, why are you thinking that? And sometimes I don't know. Whoa, easy there. Microphone. Sometimes I don't know. And it's a lot of times, if I kind of have this rule of thumb now where if it's just a matter of misunderstanding, like you say one thing and I don't understand what you're saying, I'll just take your word for it, because clearly what I've been told is fucking wrong. And I don't live the same way that you guys do. So we have different experiences, and I there's no way that I'm ever going to know what that is. But
again, it's nothing to be.
I try to go out of my way actually now, and that's actually I didn't want to bring it up, but since we're talking about it, it's one of the reasons that I followed you so hard. It's because I started reaching out, trying to find voices and experiences that are not mine, because I want to know what is real, and the only way to do that is to get a collection of information. And obviously, if it's just a bunch of white dudes like talking about, Batman beating up Superman or whatever, that's not going to help anybody. So I like go out of my way, and I really enjoy your stuff because we have similar interests and stuff, but I can still get a really good discussion, and I can get viewpoints of stuff that I would not have considered myself. So I don't know. Not really after, I guess, any kind of accommodations, but yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's why I stuck around. And I just I really appreciate the things that you guys do, so it helps me a lot.
Man, don't get me all emotional here and shit, man. That's a Wednesday. I shouldn't be all no, but in all seriousness though, it means a lot, because again, you're willing to do something other people aren't. A lot of people aren't willing to try to hear other viewpoints or open themselves up to understand. Like, I open themselves to understand that I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are like, well, if I don't, no, it's just this. If I don't get it, it's just not meant for me to get it. Because the thing is now people are like, oh, well, because, all right. So I know I've seen this big thing on Facebook where people are literally some black people are literally applauding some white people saying, I'm not a racist. I've never been. Like, okay, well, I'm applauding you for being a good human being. That's just being normal, right?
Right.
But you have someone who has the upbringing that says, every time I look at a person who looks like you, I should be disgusted in a sense, but decided to go the other route and learn why that is completely wrong. And it's not rare. It's rare that it happens. And when it does, to know that and to know that, like, yo, I'm still learning. Because you could also have said, well, I think I know everything. And you didn't. You like, I still am growing and I'm still learning. Because you like, even I have those times where I go back to that old thought process. And then you play it out to figure out why that came this way and what it should actually be. And dude, that in itself is amazing.
Well, I'm just trying to be, I guess, I don't know. I just,
Hey man, I wish more people would be like you, to be honest. I'm not going to say anything else beside that. I wish more people would be like you.
sometimes I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Like, I get real angry at times, like, especially the last few months. Almost stopped talking to my brother entirely. Kind of had to just stop talking about serious stuff with my family. But I was curious about your opinion. I saw an article on Facebook. Somebody had posted. It was like more like a blog post about like to angry white people to stop being so angry, because it's not about the Black Lives Matter protests and the police brutality in general. Just like stop being so angry with your other white friends, because it's not my anger to have. And I understood that because I've always kind of wondered about that. So I've really tried to turn it down, but it still fucking pisses me off.
No, it's understandable, because it's like, because you're looking at it from the perspective of, you should know fucking better. It's like, do you realize these are people, you know? And I get why people are angry, but at the same time, you see, and I think the reason those articles like that come out is, I don't know if you saw the video of the Black Lives Matter protesters yelling at the two people eating, and it was a bunch of all white people just yelling at other people sitting down eating, and everybody was like, see, this is a fuck. Even black people was like, that's a problem. This is a problem. Like, no people who are black who are marching and protesting saying Black Lives Matter are going in random people's faces sitting up eating like, you know, we're like, no, just you enjoy your meal, do what you do. And so I get it. I completely get it, man. Oh man, this is deeper than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I wanted to save all of that. I wanted to save all of that for next time. I wanted to get to know you a little bit.
We can go further next time, but it's because it's interesting to hear that, man. It's just, for someone to openly admit, like, you know, people now will try to be on either on social media, like, yeah, you know what, I am a racist, blah blah blah, and then try to be real condescending with it. But to sit there, like I said, to sit there and say that you know how you were brought up, you know what was around, and it took you an experience with somebody you worked with and considered a friend, and saw how things affected him, and then to go play a game by yourself, a popular game, and see all the vitriol that's spread on the internet in that chat.
It was just like nothing. Like it was just like another day. And like I'd seen it before, but it never clicked with me until then. And it was, I don't know, it fucked with me, man.
Hey, man. That's how it happens. That's how it happens, bro. We're gonna say the rest of this. We're gonna say, listen, I gotta hear this is a woo. Ooh, yeah, damn, man. Look, dude, again, more than anything, all bullshit aside, I thank you for me, not for everybody, for me. I say thank you for that, because again, you could look at me, with what you say, you could look at me as just a person on the internet who is just to entertain. But you see it as, I'm learning from that person. And you're learning from others who do the same thing, and that means a lot. So I say thank you personally. You know what I'm saying? I mean that sincerely, bro. Damn, Nah, we're gonna save this, man. Listen, I don't know if you want to, because I know you say you got social anxiety. I don't know if you want people to find you on the Twitters and everything. You want to tell them how to reach you? Go ahead.
I mean, I'm on Twitter at AZBadfishMC. I don't really do anything. I'm just a dude now. So if I don't have anything to plug, go watch Woke on Hulu, or the The HBO Max one, Lovecraft Country.
Man, because Misha Green and them turned all of what's supposed to be the most racist shit in the world.
I love it, man.
I think that's the best part about it, because you got to be like, Lovecraft just like, are you fucking like everybody who loved Lovecraft shit because of how racist it was, being like,
I just liked it because it was weird.
I like it because it's weird, but it's just turning everything on its head. But man, y'all already know the drill. Twitter, Instagram over here. We're going to have a nice, man, when I set this next one up, this is even if even too, before we do that, if we hypothetically on Blurds do another town hall, I'm gonna see your schedule and I want to get you on at the top, if you don't mind. I know you got social anxiety, but
all right, man.
I'll tell you, like I told Alberto Rios, hopefully I've broken your cherry now to be able to speak a little more.
I mean, I've been on camera and stuff before. It's just a little, honestly, having all that in the back of my head was kind of what was making me nervous. So I'm feeling much better now.
Ta-da! All right, y'all. We will holler at y'all. Don't go anywhere once I wrap this. We'll holler at y'all. I'll holler at y'all for the next installment of another one-on-one with the Supervillain. If you are watching here on the Patreon and you want to upgrade to the tier, you can do that. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, come on and subscribe and all that stuff. I'll let y'all later. I'm out. Bye.